Every video and episode of the It's Cavalier podcast is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoy the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos, podcasts, member shoutouts, and more. And as always, thank you for watching. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. 1 of 16. Oh my gosh. What a start to these NBA playoffs for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy, Mac. Ladies and gentlemen, the day finally arrived. The next step in the Cavs championship journey began tonight as our Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Miami Heat in game 1 of this highly anticipated playoff series. And let me tell you, I was really, really excited for this one, if you can't tell. Cleveland Cavalier playoff debut for Kenny Atkinson, the playoff debut overall for Ty Jerome, who we're going to talk about in just a minute, in a matchup between two teams that have never met before in the playoffs, in any playoff series. The Miami Heat, as an organization, have 26 total playoff appearances in their last 37 years of existence, and Cleveland has 25 in their 55 years as an organization. But never before have these two teams met for playoff basketball. And to me, that is quite interesting. And while Cleveland comes in as the heavy favorite, Miami should never truly be counted out, and they showed that tonight at points, especially with Eric Spoelstra still patrolling the sidelines after 17 years at the helm, if you can believe that. He's seen it all. He's done it all. And if there was anybody that could give the Cavaliers a challenge in the first round, it's him and this Miami Heat team. But let's not sleep on Kenny Atkinson either. All he did was field one of the most efficient offenses in NBA history, and he capped it off with one of the second best. He capped it off with the second best season in franchise history in regards to wins, leading the team to a 64-18 record in his inaugural campaign at the helm. He won a title as an assistant with Golden State and is poised to do much the same this year. And that pursuit began tonight. And boy, oh boy, was this a fun ass watch. Now, look. I said this a number of times after we found out that we would be playing the Miami Heat. I said it a number of times in the breakdown in the series preview that I dropped earlier on today. This Miami Heat team is not a team to be taken lightly. They come to play, man. They are excellently coached, and they play a style of basketball that can be very, very physical. And I mean, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's break down the keys to winning this series. And I think that they are pretty straightforward. Control the pace, set the tone. Miami Heat plays at the 27th fastest pace in basketball. They are deliberate, they are intentional, and they will spend a great deal of time executing their sets. The Cavs should not, cannot, will not let them dictate the tempo. And that is what we saw from this team tonight, ultimately. Number 2, attack the glass, limit those second chance opportunities. And to me, honestly, this is one that really goes without saying, being that the Cavaliers ranked 14th and 15th in overall rebounding in back-to-back postseasons. That said, Cleveland did manage to finish the 2024-25 season as the 6th-ranked team on the glass, hauling in 45.4 boards per game and had a top 12 rebounding percentage at 50.5%. And it's improved, but it hadn't yet been playoff tested. That's what we are waiting to see. And then last but not least, contain the drive. Maybe one of the most underrated things that they do over there in Miami. Davion Mitchell in particular, has been really good as a driver since he came over to Miami. And he had been completing 51.4% of his field goals off of his 601 total drives this season. We already know he spent half his season with Toronto, but he has continued his efficiency when driving the ball. But his impact goes even beyond that. It's the quality facilitation that he gives out there, as he's divvied out the 8th most assist off of drives post Butler trade with 46 helpers and an assist percentage of 14.1% on those drives. He's just been really, really effective at driving that basketball. And he did that a number of times tonight, as we will discuss. And we can't really discuss the Miami Heat at all without mentioning Tyler Herro, who is one of just 9 players who drove the ball at least 1,000 times this year. Not only did he come in to the postseason with the NBA's 4th most field goals off of drives, but he's damn efficient while doing so. He completed a staggering 53.8% of his field goals in that way. And the only players who had been more efficient are SGA and Jalen Brunson. Pretty good company to be in. And for what it's worth, this is actually a 9-man group that also includes Darius Garland. He's been a crafty finisher all season long, and the film shows that. He placed within the 94th percentile in rim shot making efficiency per B-ball index. All of that said, this man was absolutely shut down tonight. Absolutely shut down tonight. And it came from unlikely sources. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. I'm going to lump myself into here. I'm going to put myself at that table. It is time to pay Sam Merrill his respects in regards to defense. Sam Merrill, in 24 minutes of action tonight, didn't really show up too much on the stat sheet. 6 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 2 blocks. But at the end of the day, the defense, the blocks are there, obviously, but the defense that he played, the ball denial, especially on screen navigation, especially limiting Tyler Herro from getting the rock coming around screens. This man was practically glued to the hip of one Tyler Herro. They shut this man down. And Tyler, he's been killing it in these past couple of games in the play-in tournament, but he was held to just 21 points on 7 of 18 from the field, including 3 of 6 from three-point distance. He was a minus 18. Now, that might sound like he gave Miami a lot of production, but relative to what he's been doing these last couple of games and what he has done all season long, they shut him down. And Sam Merrill was at the forefront of that. So please, please, please give this man the respect that he deserves. The thing that I have been saying about Sam for so very long is that, one, when the playoffs began, I was in the mindset that this man's minutes would be shortened. But with the way that he has played in this game, and if he continues to play like this, and I would be a fool to say it's going to continue this way the entire season, but or the entire postseason, but it's unmistakable. This man is one of the better guard defenders in the league. His screen navigation is elite. It is something that has stuck out to me like a sore thumb all year long. And this man, it shows, right? He ranked within the 92nd percentile in screen navigation this season. He ranked within the 100th percentile, if you can believe that, in off-ball chaser defense, meaning he will chase his assignments around screens. And you saw that. You saw that a number of times in that third and fourth quarter with Sam and Tyler. He denied him the ball numerous times when they tried to get him the ball, whether it be off the DHO or literally just an off-ball screen action with Bam Adebayo or Khalil Ware. They deny this man the opportunity to even receive the ball numerous times. If he was taller, 2 or 3 inches taller, Sam Merrill would probably be probably looked at as one of the best wings in basketball at what he does, because we already know he is capable of being a flamethrower out there, and he did knock down at least 2 triples tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But at the end of the day, I was highly impressed. And we're going to talk about Ty Jerome. We're going to talk about Donovan Mitchell. We're going to talk about Evan versus Bam. But I was highly impressed with the defensive effort of one Sam Merrill. This guy, you got to give him his respect. And again, I'll blunt myself in there. I've always had respect for Sam. But the one thing that I thought entering this postseason was that he would necessarily, his minutes might be cut a little bit by the likes of Dean Wade, DeAndre Hunter, and Isaac Okoro. Wasn't the best game for Isaac, 0-4 from three-point distance. There were a number of shots tonight where I'm just like, oh, come on, Isaac. The defense, as they have always done in the postseason, left him wide open from both corners. And then there was at least more than one occasion where he got a rebound or he got himself in good position around the rim and he refused to take the shot and instead looked to pass out of it. Very, very passive in that regard. Still bringing a lot to the table from a defensive standpoint. You can never question that for Isaac Okoro, but the shot was just not falling tonight. Ditto, unlikely from DeAndre Hunter. What have we said about DeAndre Hunter since we acquired him? He's going to be big come the playoffs. He's going to be somebody that goes out there and is going to make a monumental impact. But he only played 16 minutes tonight. Why was that? Because Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill were locking shit down on the defensive side. And in the case of Ty Jerome, he was just brilliant. I'll talk about him in a second, but DeAndre Hunter from an offensive standpoint, 0 points. Hopefully you didn't bet on him tonight. 0 points in his 16 minutes of action, 0-4 from the field, did not record any other stats. He was a net negative tonight, -2. If I am not mistaken, he was the only Cavalier that had a negative plus minus. Was not a great performance for DeAndre Hunter. I do not think that continues. But when that happens, it pays to know that Sam and Ty and others will step up out there. But this is just a phenomenal performance from a number of Cavaliers. And that starts with Ty Jerome. This guy, give this man the sixth man of the year. Obviously, he's probably not going to get it. I think that Peyton Pritchard is likely to win that award. DeAndre Hunter deserves some praise there too for the season that he has had. But Ty Jerome would win this award 9 times out of 10 in any other year. It's just a damn shame that he's probably not likely to get it. Ty Jerome would finish with 28 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, was 10 of 15 from the field, including 5 of 8 from three-point range. At a certain point in the game, it just felt like this motherfucker could not miss. It truly did. Whether that was his patented floater or he's pulling up from three-point distance or he's catching and shooting from three-point distance. And you knew it because there was a couple of possessions where Garland or Donovan or Sam or somebody else out there that was handling the rock would just give it to Ty Jerome and ask him to cook. Let this man cook, as they say. He was balling. He was in his zone tonight. This was his playoff debut. Yes, he was with the Golden State Warriors when they had their finals run, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, he has been on a number of teams that have been pretty damn good. He was on Cleveland last year, obviously, but he was only healthy enough to suit up in 2 games. Only healthy enough to suit up in 2 games. And you know what? I could not be healthy. I mean, I'm healthy. I could not be any happier with what we saw from Ty Jerome tonight. If this is a precursor to things to come, good luck to anybody in the Eastern Conference. And I'll say this, as I've mentioned numerous times already, you got to throw a lot of respect at that Miami Heat organization. You got to have a ton of respect for what Eric Spoelstra is able to do year in and year out with the rosters that he has at his disposal. But here's the thing. Miami is not on the same level as this Cavs team. They know it. Cleveland knows it. The NBA knows it. That said, they gave it their all on the defensive side of the ball, and a lot of that happened to be because of the zone that they played. But at the end of the day, it did not matter because Cleveland was able to shoot over the top of that zone. When they tried to stop the dribble penetration of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, Ty Jerome was right there to shoot the lights out. Donovan Mitchell picked it up in that second half. Darius Garland was 5 of 9 from three-point range on his way to 10 of 17 from the field, including 27 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. On a night where Donovan and Darius combined for 57 fucking points, Ty Jerome was the true star of the game because he was absolutely, he was just unabashedly dominant. Just unabashedly dominant on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, when you think about that, you got Donovan going for 30. You got Darius going for 27. You got Ty going for 28. This is truly maybe the best backcourt collectively in the NBA. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just living in the moment, but my God, this backcourt is crazy. They are crazy talented. Ty Jerome could start on many, many teams, but we have him, and it's been a luxury all year long. And I think that continues as this postseason rolls right along. He was just phenomenal tonight, and it's crazy to think about when you have your starters combining for 57, and they're taking a back seat to Ty Jerome, who was equally as phenomenal off the bench and just could not miss at points. This man's ability to hit that floater, a shot that he was in the 100th percentile in terms of floater talent per B-ball index this season, it's been unstoppable. It's one of those things that you see it coming. You see it getting ready to happen from a mile away on the pick and roll or DHO set from Jarrett Allen or Evan Mobley, but you simply cannot stop it. It's one of the most undefensible, I don't even know what the fucking word. I don't even know what word to use. You cannot defend it. You cannot guard it at times if it's coming from Ty Jerome. He has just been that good. He is elite at that shot. It is one of the best in his tool shed. And this is coming from a man that very nearly finished in the 50-40-90 club. So we know that he is an excellent three-point shooter. We know he has money around the rim. We know that he is a quality mid-range shooter. But the floater is the straw that stirs the proverbial drink for him. And there was a number of shots that he hit tonight where he just immediately flexed on him afterwards. Complete X factor for the series. And I listed him as a X factor in my Cavs preview in the breakdown for this series. And I am glad to have been proven right, at least for tonight. By the way, if you haven't watched that, it touched on many of the things that we saw tonight. The Davion Donovan matchup that we saw those two kind of face off against one another a lot tonight. It talks about those two. It talks about Evan versus Bam, about how key and instrumental that is. It talks about Khalil Ware versus Jarrett Allen. And Khalil Ware was it wasn't the best game for him, but at least in that first half, I thought Ware did bring a lot from a physicality standpoint. It talks about the X factors in regards to Ty Jerome in particular. I'm just so fucking happy that this team is just it's built different, man, because I can't tell you, and I don't see any Miami Heat fans in here right now in the chat. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm just not seeing it in the right place. But I don't see any Miami Heat fans in this chat right now the same way that I saw in that Cavs preview or after we found out who the Cavs would be playing. They're chirping up because I can't tell you the number of fans that were at me and telling me that playoff basketball is different from regular season basketball. Well, duh, we already knew that. But the one thing that I think people are underestimating about this Cavs team is that they're not the same as they were last year. The vibes are different. The feeling is different. The coaching is different. The culture is different. It's all different. The roster is much the same, but the team is just playing at a different level. They have matured. Their offense is functioning at a higher level due to the creativity of Kenny Atkinson. You're seeing just guys being used in ways that we did not think would be a possibility prior to this season. And then it has culminated in one of the best seasons in franchise history, the second best in terms of win-losses. But this is one of 16, right? The journey's not over yet. This series ain't over yet. I guarantee you that Miami, because they came to play at certain points, they were scratching and clawing back tonight, and that zone that they are capable of doing damaging and disrupting in, that was something that was working for a while, but then Cleveland was able to shoot themselves out of it. Very, very good. And I get that Ty is not going to go 10 of 15 every single night. I get that Donovan and Darius are not going to combine for 57 every single night, although you would like them to. But I'm in a place right now where this to me, this Cleveland team is just in a much higher level than Miami is. And that's no disrespect to them. If there are any Miami Heat fans listening by chance to this post-game experience, Cleveland is just the better team. We already knew that. They're the number one seed in the East. That it is no discredit to Miami, but this was always going to be viewed as a team that was inferior to Cleveland. And I think you saw that tonight as Cleveland basically just has the ability to out-talent. They have the ability to out-talent many of their opponents. that they will be facing. Everybody's just looking straight forward to the Boston series that could potentially happen in the Eastern Conference Finals. But at the end of the day, we all know, like, you got to take every single round serious. And that is exactly what I was urging this team to do come this first round series against a very dangerous opponent in the Miami Heat. I say dangerous because one, I have a heavy respect for Eric Spoelstra in that organization. I just feel like they always can be a thorn in the side once playoff basketball commences. So we've seen them do this despite being a lower seeded team numerous times. But tonight, no, Cleveland showed that they meant business. And they came out of the gate, right? You saw a number of things happen tonight. You saw Evan Mobley drill a triple within the first 5 minutes of action. You saw Max Strus knock down the first shot of the game, that being a triple for Cleveland. Just phenomenal stuff. And they continue to put the gas and their foot on the pedal, but Miami was right there saying, "Oh, we're not done. We're not going to just surrender. We're not going to give you this W." And they credit where credit is due. You saw Bam Adebayo, who would finish with 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists on 2 of 22 from the field, including 1 block and 2 steals. Bam was good. I have nothing bad to say in regards to what Bam Adebayo was able to bring to the table for them. But Bam and Tyler Hero is your second best player. That is not going to be enough. That is not going to be enough. Davion Mitchell, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists off the Miami Heat bench. He's been phenomenal. I already said one of the best things that he has done since coming over to Miami is drive the basketball. He is excellent at the drive and kick. He finished with 9 assists tonight. You saw that a number of times. You saw him get the ball to Bam down low. You saw him get the ball to Haywood Highsmith and Duncan Robinson and a number of other Miami Heat players. He is really, really good at what he does. They're just not at Cleveland's level. By far, they're just not at Cleveland's level, and that's okay. Cavs have 3 more wins to secure their path to round 2, the semifinals, against whoever comes out in the other series. But man, this was just such a dominant close, because at the half, I wasn't too sure what to expect come the second half. And I legitimately felt like Miami was going to give Cleveland a run for their money, because when you look just from a statistical standpoint, Miami was doing quite well. 20 of 42 from the field. That is 47.6%. And they were 9 of 18 from three-point range. That's 50%. That's 50% that they were shooting in the first half alone. The one thing that they did not do a ton was get and draw a lot of contact. Just 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. So just 6 free throw attempts. That's 83.3%. To Cleveland, conversely, 24-45. They shot 53.3%. Highly efficient, highly effective. They were 9 of 21 from three-point range in the first half. That is 42.9%. And they were 5 of 5 from the charity stripe. So neither team was getting a ton of fouls. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to rewatch this game, or if you did not look at it entirely or in its entirety, as Cleveland led the way, was not a heavily called, a lot of foul calls tonight. Just 16 attempts for Cleveland and 12 for Miami. The officiating this season has just been in the gutter. But despite that, Cleveland has been able to overcome the challenge when it often feels like Cleveland is playing against the opposite team and the refs at the same time. 2 different opponents on 2 different fronts. But it was nice to see that Cleveland, even when they were not getting calls, because there were a number of calls where I felt like Darius and Donovan were getting hacked, that just weren't called. Just weren't called. And for your guys to step up and not get too emotional and too high or low when that happens, especially in a playoff environment, a playoff setting, that should pay dividends. And let me tell you, Cleveland, the arena, that shit looked like it was rocking. And that is why you want home court advantage right there, because the fans, they just bring such a vibe to the table, a vibe to the equation. And I'm just like, okay, this is why it is so important to get and establish home court advantage. Because we saw how big a deal that was last postseason against Orlando, where the home team usually won. So, I mean, I'm at a place right now where Cleveland, just do what you got to do, win this series 4-5 games, hopefully, and you're on to the second round. But man, oh man, This was a great start, a great debut, mind you, for Ty Jerome, his playoff debut, and then Kenny Atkinson's Cleveland Cavaliers playoff debut. Just excellently coached all the way around, excellently played by the players themselves. No real complaints tonight. Yes, I already touched on the Isaac Okoro and DeAndre Hunter ineffectiveness from an offensive standpoint. And Dean Wade, I suppose we should talk about Dean Wade, because one of the things that was made clear to us prior to the start of this game was that Cleveland was going to operate with a 10-man rotation. Tonight, essentially, they played a 10-man rotation, but the minutes distribution was quite interesting. Donovan Mitchell played 33, Evan played 33, Darius played 31, Jarrett played 30, Max played 21, Ty played 26, Sam played 24, DeAndre played 16, Isaac played 13, and Dean played 7. So to me, I was really, really curious to see how Kenny was going to distribute the minutes prior to tip-off, based on what we heard, and that they were going to operate with a 10-man rotation, where we know traditionally teams try and close things up and shorten their rotations come postseason, going to an 8 or 9-man rotation. And clearly that was not the case in this game, right? Ty played 26 big ones off the bench. I already covered Sam Merrill, who's been a flat out dog defensively tonight against Tyler Herro. And then as a screen navigator, that was what stuck out the most to me, the ball denial that you can attribute to him in that regard. And it's, even if you go back to last year, he has always been at a high level doing that, but it was really put on full display against one of the better shooters in today's game in Tyler Herro. Just phenomenal, man. Just absolutely phenomenal. And credit where credit is due. I can't say enough. I can't say enough good things about it. In terms of, scheme and game plan, it was clear, as I said to open this, Cleveland went out there with the deliberate intention to not let Miami control the pace and the tempo of this game, as Miami plays at the 27th quickest pace in basketball. They're one of the slowest teams in the league, and if Cleveland got lulled to sleep and playing their style of ball, probably could have ended pretty poorly, because that's the style of play that Miami likes to operate with. And Cleveland is no stranger to that, having functioned in a very slow-paced offense under JB Bickerstaff for a number of years. But they are clearly at their best when they're running. They're out in transition. They're moving that ball around, right? They're moving it from side to side, and they're getting different cuts and opportunities for guys. That's exactly what they went out there and did tonight. It just looked like Cleveland and Miami were playing two different types of basketball, and that was always going to be the key to success, at least one of them. And I'm glad that they went out there from start to finish and executed in that fashion. They made it a really, real high point of emphasis to get the ball to Evan Mobley in the early going. They made sure to get the backcourt involved as quickly as possible, with Donovan leading the way with 19 shots. You got Darius with 17, Ty Jerome with 15. And Jarrett Allen, right? Even Jarrett Allen on the glass. That was something that I was really, really wanting to see play out tonight, because when you look at where Miami stood in terms of their post-Butler stats, it hasn't been that great. And here they are right here, the post-Butler stats. They came in, finished the regular season 12-21, which is 21st in NBA. They had an offensive rating of 113.1, a defensive rating of 112, which is 11th, pretty damn good, a net rating of 1.1 by virtue of that, which is 16th. They were shooting 47.5% from the field. That's 13th. They were shooting 36.9% from three-point distance. That is 11th. And this is the most interesting part, and this is why I bring up Jarrett Allen. 42.4 rebounds per game, 25th in the NBA. If it's a place where they're vulnerable at, it is the glass. And I thought that Jarrett Allen, who led the way with 11 rebounds tonight, finished with a double-double, 12 points, 11 rebounds, and was 5 of 8 from the field. If there was one area that I was concerned about heading into this, despite Miami not being a great rebounding team, it was the rebounding, the second chance opportunities that Cleveland has failed to wipe away in the past two postseasons. That flat out just did not happen tonight. And I felt really, really good about their ability to shut that down, as they evened it up, right? 17-17. for every second chance opportunity that Miami got, Cleveland was right there to to feast on the glass themselves. It just that makes you feel good because it feels like growth. And I already mentioned this. They finished the season ranked 6th in overall rebounds, but post All-Star break, it has felt like the rebounding hasn't been great. So it was good to know that after, a while, it felt like a lot of rest, that Cleveland was game. And they pulled down 14 offensive rebounds. They pulled down 28 defensive rebounds to Miami's to Miami's 26 and 11. They won the rebounding battle. You love to see that. And I knew that was going to end up happening. I just wanted to make sure that they were game, and I wanted to make sure that they were ready to make things happen. Okay, hold on. Got to cut things short, guys.